Live from the KWQC Broadcast Center, this is TV6 News at 6.
Downtown on fire, flames glowing through the night, shooting into the sky in Prophetstown, Illinois. Some can be seen from 10 miles away. Crews work for hours putting water on the flames from the ground and from the air, eventually draining the town's water system.
All I know is I called for more help, more help, more help.
And this is how it looks now, a shell of its former glory. 8 buildings burned, 6 a total loss.
I just ran out the front door, down my front steps.
But everyone is okay, left now to pick up the pieces of businesses lost, jobs lost, and a town center lost in Prophetstown.
It hurts all the people involved, the community, but we'll pull through. Somehow we'll pull through.
We have team coverage tonight of this devastating fire. It is the word we've been hearing all day concerning this ordeal. Devastating. And that's why we are dedicating resources to this story tonight. It's tough to see, tough to deal with, and our crews are hoping to provide some answers for you tonight. KWQC's Lynn Enwin will be asking those questions in Prophetstown. Shireen Mohammed will talk about the Red Cross angle. And Amber O'Brien, who was first on the scene this morning, will show us how the community is already helping right now some of the business owners. Now, this is the area we're talking about in Prophetstown, Illinois. It is the downtown, which is about an hour away from the Quad City metro area. A downtown that's won a lot of awards for its revitalization and growth, reduced now to a shell. And here's what we know about that. 8 buildings on this stretch of the downtown are affected by the fire. 6 are a total loss. The other 2 have smoke damage. Nobody was hurt, but people do live above these businesses. The fire started around 2:30 in the morning. Immediately, the fire chief knew it could be a bad one and called in mutual aid. They fought the fire for hours using hundreds of thousands of gallons of water. In fact, so much water that it drained the water tower in Prophetstown and also in neighboring Linden. Both towns are under a boil order right now tonight. So they needed so much water that they had to tap in to the Rock River, going several blocks away to go to the Rock and pull out that water from the state park. Now, this shows the crews getting ready at this point on the Rock, extracting the water to haul it all downtown. And firefighters had a lot of help in this effort. A farmer and a local business also pulled up with water tanks. We start our team coverage right now with KWQC's Shireen Mohammed in Prophetstown to find out what's going on right there now. Shireen?
Well, they're starting to take down the buildings. They've already taken down 2, and now they're starting on the 3rd building that they're taking down. People are standing by, shocked and in disbelief at what's going on right now in their own community. Now, some I spoke with say that their hearts go out to the victims, that their lives could have been lost in those buildings, and the Red Cross is currently helping them with food, clothes, and shelter, and they're hoping that they will be helping them in days to come as well. They got the call originally at 4 in the morning, and they've been out on the scene all day providing, again, food and water to the fire crews, but the Red Cross has also been helping those victims as well. They gave them money to buy clothes and a motel for them to take shelter. They say the victims are just in disbelief and at a total loss.
They have to start from square one. They have family, they have neighbors, they have friends, but yeah, they have lost everything. Some of them even lost their cars. They're gone.
Now, some of the volunteers that I spoke with also say that they will be making follow-up calls with those victims to make sure that they are on the path to recovery. Again, they are taking down that 3rd building, as you can see, and they will be taking down the ones that are next to them as well. Reporting live in Prophetstown, Shireen Mohammed, KWQC TV6 News.
A lot going on there in Prophetstown. Thank you, Shireen. Other communities also came in to the rescue. Crews from a half dozen counties all around the area, Clinton and Iowa, then Carroll, Whiteside, Lee, Henry, and Bureau on the Illinois side, all coming in to fight the fire. 25 crews there all at once. Too many trucks to count. And tonight we can tell you that the block affected housed a salon, the Historic Society, and a pharmacy. Now, at the pharmacy, they say if you're in need of medication, call the Galena office and they will bring it down to Prophetstown for you. The buildings also contained apartments where several people lived on the 2nd floor. We continue now our team coverage with KWQC's Amber O'Brien and a woman who lost everything in the fire.
Fire officials confirm the fire began at Cindy Jean's restaurant. Cindy Jean herself lived on the second floor. She's the one who called 911, but now this is all that's left.
And I smelled smoke and I saw flames. So I grabbed my phone and just ran out the front and called 911. Just been crazy ever since. And I'm very thankful that I'm alive. And I don't really have anything else left. I'm like, wow, I am so glad I woke up. And I really feel it was God that woke me up and got me out. The people, my employees, Dawn is one of my employees, and she takes care of me. If I have a time of need, she's always been there for me. All of my employees, there's been a lot of them down here with me. They've all been good to me throughout the years that I've been here, 5 years. And the town of Prophetstown has been awesome to me. They love me, and they don't want to ever see me leave. And they're just very caring and loving people. I believe in God, and I know God is taking care of me all the time.
More team coverage now with Lenan Nguyen, who's here with more on what we just heard, how the community really came together. Lenan.
Paula, as soon as word spread of this fire, community members and others from even out of town were out in full force to take a look at all that was lost. Some were very emotional as they took pictures, and many were connected in some way to the people who lived and owned businesses in those buildings. Business owners nearby tell us it's very difficult to see their friends and neighbors' livelihood burned to the ground today, but right away, many from the community and beyond jumped into action to help. We spoke to a business owner who owns an air duct repair company in the Kwqc. He tells us he grew up nearby and drove in this morning to see the damage for himself and try to help businesses affected by smoke damage. And a volunteer firefighter this morning helping to battle the flames tells us he owns an excavation company. Right after fighting the fire, he jumped right back on the road to get his equipment and help tear these buildings down.
They're running the heavy equipment to make the building, bring the buildings into a safe status, and that way the town will be able to get past us, the streets will get back open, and they won't get anybody hurt or killed trying to do it some other way.
Just because we know they're going to have smoke damage, we know people's going to have problems with this, and you know, whatever we can do to help out. I mean, if there's something we can help them with, and hopefully give them some discounts and stuff on doing the work and make things better for them, as comfortable as they can to hopefully recover from this.
Community members tell us at least 3 business owners in these buildings lived above their businesses. They've lost both their homes and their livelihood tonight in today's tragic fire, but many say they're still thankful no one was hurt. Paula?
That is true about that, Lenan. Thank you. Now, the fire, we've said, could be seen from miles away. Lots of you sent us pictures of it. This one is from Christopher Williams, which really shows how you can see the flames straight on through the building and how bright the sky got with how it lit up like a furnace. And then a shot from Christopher Williams when the flames were out from the back of the building in the rubble and the smoke as it all crumbles to the ground. We want to thank all of you who fed us tips about this fire. We got phone calls to our newsroom, posts to our Facebook page, and a reminder that whenever you see news happen, you can always go to our Facebook page, email us at news@kwqc.com, or call us 823-KWQC. And for the latest on this fire, we're still working now to get information about the cause, the fate of the businesses, and the latest on the boil order. So keep us up to date on KWQC.com. Let's get a check now of our most reliable forecast on a hot evening. Kevin Phelps.
Yeah, it certainly is, Paula, and right now we're under partly cloudy skies, but we're going to stay high and dry for the remainder of this evening. A few select areas did see a shower or two here this afternoon, but those quickly dissipated. We're still checking in at 88 in the QC, 91 in Muscatine, and 90 in Kwqc. Of course, the heat index is much higher than that. Here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast on Tuesday. We start off in the lower 70s, and we eventually top out in the lower 90s. Factor in that humidity, should feel closer to 100 tomorrow, and it's going to be warmer on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll break down the rest of the forecast here in a couple minutes.
But his lung injury is not nearly as severe as I expected it to be, and it has not gotten more severe over the last couple of days. It's actually gotten better.
Word tonight from doctors that the 6-year-old boy from Sterling who was buried for hours under the sand is improving. On Friday, Nathan Weisner became buried under 11 feet of sand at the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore after a sinkhole opened. Doctors have been working to remove sand from his lungs, but his neurological exams have been remarkably good and seem to show his brain functions are normal. How the dune collapsed is still being investigated. Tonight, we're waiting to see if lawyers for former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich will file an appeal. Today was the deadline to file, but they could ask for extensions. 16 months ago, Blagojevich entered a Colorado prison for corruption. His lawyers may call for the convictions to be tossed out or for his 14-year sentence to be reduced. Trying to keep Illinois colleges afloat. That's what State Comptroller Judy Bartopinka discussed at Black Hawk College today. KWQC's Taylor Umlin reports that what she had to say wasn't so easy to hear.
At times, Judy Bartopinka was brutally honest.
We expect we'll be right back to around $7.5 billion in unpaid bills by the end of August. Not too far off.
But at the same time, she is sympathetic to nonprofit organizations that are millions of dollars short in the money they are due from Illinois, especially state universities.
These folks have no options. I mean, they really depend upon state funding. And when they don't get it, you're really just cutting our most vulnerable citizens out of the equation and throwing them under the bus.
Today, employees from Black Hawk College gathered to hear what the plan was to get colleges paid, including ones right here in the QCA.
We are going to launch an advisory committee of just non-for-profits so that we can stay attuned to what the problems are, how best we can address them. Do we have to do something legislative? Do we have to do something just from a networking standpoint? Bring people together, solve the problems.
That is something that needs to happen sooner than later, according to college president Thomas Bainham. He says student tuition should only be supporting about 1/3 of the college budget and the state supplying another 1/3. But due to shortcomings, students are currently funding about 49%, and the state only 18%.
But we're broke, okay.
But she adds they are not ready to give up just yet.
We will start solving their problems. We're not going to let this area go to hell in a handbasket.
In Moline, Taylor Umlin, KWQC TV6 News.
Topinka also spoke out against Governor Quinn's withholding money from lawmakers until they solve the pension problem. She says that distrust between the Assembly and the governor's office isn't the best way to get things done. Still ahead for you at 6 tonight, a Quad Cityan visiting the White House today, recognized for his years of service and volunteer work. And smoldering reminders of what once stood in Prophetstown after fire does its damage in the downtown.
And a day filled with upper 80s and lower 90s. We'll tack on a few degrees onto this over the next several days. We'll take a look at your hot 7-day forecast coming up after the break.
You're watching Gary Mativier and Paula Sands. This is KWQC TV6 News at 6. And now, the Quad City's most reliable forecast with meteorologist Kevin Phelps.
It certainly feels like summer across the QCA. We're sitting right now at 88 degrees. Factor in the humidity, feels closer to 95, and Mother Nature not providing too much relief with those winds today, as they've basically been from the east-southeast, anywhere from about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And it looks like we're going to continue to see some very warm temperatures and increasing humidity here over the next several days. Now, a few select areas will get a slight chance for a shower or possibly a thunderstorm to provide us with some relief, but most of us are going to have to wait until this weekend before we see anything in the way of relief from these very warm and humid conditions. And right now we have partly cloudy skies across the QCA. We did have a few showers that tried to develop in Bureau County earlier this afternoon, but those quickly dissipated. We were also watching a few cells starting to go up in Peoria, but again, those quickly dissipated as well. So it looks like we'll stay high and dry here as we head into our evening and overnight hours. 89 right now in Des Moines, 86 for Mason City, and 87 in Springfield. So the entire region still dealing with a very warm evening here, and including us here in the TV6 viewing area. Live Doppler HD showing dry conditions. That's the way we'll stay for the rest of tonight. 90 still in Macomb. We're looking at 91 in Muscatine, 90 in Iowa City, and 86 degrees for Dubuque. You factor in the humidity, feels closer to 96 in Savannah, 97 Kewanee, and 97 for Macomb. I think the warmest heat index that I saw earlier this afternoon was Savannah, where they checked in at 101, and that's just more of what's to come here in the next couple of days. We are seeing those winds turn back to the southeast. Eventually will turn all the way to the south overnight. That should keep us mild again, and also going to slowly step up the humidity for tomorrow and again on Wednesday. So here's exact track. We'll call it partly to mostly clear skies as we head into our overnight hours. And then as we head into Tuesday afternoon, another day filled with partly cloudy skies and a very slim chance for a shower. So you should consider yourself lucky if you find yourself in one of those. Of course, a lot of our lawns probably need that, even though we had such a saturated ground here just a few weeks ago. We'll do it all over again as we head into Wednesday, except we'll be another degree warmer. So 71 for our overnight low tonight. Those light south winds keep us warm. 90 tomorrow for Clinton, 88 from Kwqc, and we'll go 88 in Tipton, south of Interstate 80. Widespread mid and lower 90s. 93 for Galesburg and 92 for Kwqc. The Quad Cities Metro will go for a high temperature of 91. Those winds from the south at 5 to 10 continue to transport the increasing humidity levels and hopefully could provide a little bit of relief with a nice breeze, but with those soaring humidity levels, heat index values will be near 100 again on Tuesday afternoon, 92 by Wednesday, and then as we wrap up the work week on Friday, we'll hit a high of 92, but with higher humidity levels, expect those heat indexes to be in the lower 100s, but there's the relief arriving by Saturday and Sunday. A slight chance for a few showers early in the day on Saturday, but by the afternoon, mostly cloudy and a high of only 83.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Now you can help Davenport Police protect and defend with your cell phone. They're launching a new smartphone and iPad app called Do What's Right. The free app is available tonight. You can use it to submit anonymous tips, view crime maps, and find links to city services. The app also has push notifications, so you can find out about street closures and other public safety matters. More than $2 million in funding is going to Metrolink in Rock Island to help update the fleet. The grants are awarded through the Transportation Department and are being set aside for the buses. Congresswoman Sherry Busto says it will help the area meet infrastructure and transportation needs. The money will be used to buy 7 natural gas vehicles to replace diesel buses. A Quad Citian famous for river cleanup is being recognized at the White House. President Obama and former President George H.W. Bush presented the Points of Light Awards. George Bush Sr. started this program when he was president to honor those who serve through volunteerism. A couple from Iowa accepted an award for their nonprofit that delivers meals to kids in 15 counties. Also in attendance today were 24 past Point of Light honorees. Yes, our own Quad Cities' Chad Progracki of Living Lands and Waters. He was recognized by the program in 2011 for the project he started in 1998, cleaning up America's waterways. And next at 6, community devastation after the massive fire in downtown Prophetstown. What's next for some of these historic buildings? Our coverage continues now on that massive fire in Prophetstown, Illinois. The blaze destroying several historic buildings. We have a picture from the Historical Society. This is from about 100 years ago, Washington Street. And yes, that is in the downtown back in the early 1900s. And now we have another picture, roughly the same area from the 1990s. The Historical Society tells us they also had a museum along this block, and now memorabilia and other old items have been lost in the fire. And it was a very, very intense firefight. This is all that's left of one building, just part of a frame standing. Very, very little of it left, just a shell. 6 buildings destroyed, 2 others are damaged. And tonight we know that buildings like this will have to be torn down. Let's get the latest right now. Shireen Mohammed is out there live in Prophetstown for an update. Out there now. Shireen.
Yeah, well, they're now taking down a 4th building. And while they're taking down these buildings, they're finding more and more smoldering hotspots. Now, in order to finish taking down those buildings, they have to extinguish those hotspots before they do anything else, because or else it'll just get worse and another fire will start, especially with that heat and wind. Officials told me that with the combination of the two, it's just causing more and more of a struggle for them to put out those hotspots. Now, they are still currently taking down more and more of those buildings, and investigators also say that it would take days, even weeks, to find the cause of that fire. People are on standby right now, and they're watching in disbelief of how this is happening in their community. They never thought that they would ever see it be this bad. Reporting live in Prophetstown, Shireen Mohammed, Kwqc TV 6 News.
Thanks, Shireen. We're also hearing of organizations already putting together fundraisers to restore Prophetstown and help those businesses. You can look for more information on that on our website.
Yeah, such a sad sight to see. It's very warm across the QCA tonight. 88 in the QC right now, 90 in Muscatine, and 86 for Dubuque. As we head through the next couple of hours, we will drop back to the middle 70s, but that's all the cooler we're going to get as we head into those overnight hours. We'll start with partly cloudy skies on your Tuesday, and we'll top out at 91.
Still to come in sports, Tom Cornellis says the new John Deere Classic champ shows signs of being a pro golf superstar. All next.
You're watching sports with Tom Cornellis.
The John Deere Classic has had 19 first-time winners in its 43-year history, and newly crowned Jordan Spieth could follow the late Payne Stewart into pro golf superstardom. Just 2 weeks shy of his 20th birthday, Jordan Spieth has already made some golf history, becoming the youngest player in 82 years to win a PGA Tour event. Spieth's sensational sandblast birdie on the 72nd hole of regulation put him into a three-way playoff with defending champ Zach Johnson and up-and-coming Canadian David Hearn. Both Johnson and Hearn had great chances to win themselves during the first 4 playoff holes, but Spieth hung tough and survived, finally made the most of his window of opportunity on the 5th sudden death hole, announcing to one and all that Jordan Spieth has arrived.
Yeah, I've never felt like that before. Even being in contention a couple other times, it's not the same as being in a playoff and knowing that this is it. And it's just, I just had to take deep breaths. I did some breathing stuff, breathing in through the mouth, out through the nose, and trying to just control my heart rate, and it never worked. So I just went with what I had and hung in there, and I caught a break on 18. I caught a really, really nice break there, and Zach didn't, so that was the difference.
And kind of getting your first win here at the tournament that gave you a sponsor's exemption.
Yeah, it's if I didn't play last year, there's no way I'm standing here right now. So to give me an exemption last year and to come up earlier this year and give me a spot, it is, I owe a lot to this tournament, and I look forward to coming back.
Yeah, the leaderboard all week had guys that we kind of helped launch. Zach, Lucas Glover, Morgan Hoffman, Patrick Rogers. Jordan being here last year, doing what he did on the PGA Tour this year was just fantastic. Now to have him be a PGA Tour member with this win and launch him is really exciting for the community and for John Deere and obviously for him.
Jordan Spieth also had the confidence and foresight to bring his passport as he earned the last spot in this week's British Open at Muirfield, Scotland, where he begins play early Thursday morning, paired with American Russell Henley and Irish amateur Matthew Fitzpatrick. Finally, Western Illinois University has a new athletic director. He's Tommy Bell, who's been the AD at IPFW, otherwise known as Indiana Purdue Fort Wayne, for the past 6 years. Bell replaces Tim Van Alstyne, who stepped down for personal reasons after 10 years.
And a hot and humid week here across the QCA. We top out at 91 on Tuesday, 92 by Wednesday, increasing the humidity levels each afternoon. So by Friday afternoon, the high temperature of 92, feeling more like the lower 100s.
Thanks, Kevin. Hellos tonight are from the Davenport East All-Star Little Leaguers. Have a great night.
Keep going.
Woo! Hello, Quad Cities.
Hello, Quad Cities.
Hello, Quad Cities. Hello, Quad Cities.
Hello, Quad Cities.